All right, well, we're back, and this morning on our celebrity phone lines, we have a special guest, and this is Dave Chaos in the KNON celebrity phone line this morning. We have Hugo Burnham, who is appearing this Sunday as part of the Hay Festival. Hugo will be at the Texas Theater with Brendan Canty of Fugazi in a conversation moderated by David Ensminger. They will be discussing how percussion is a form of protest and how sound continues to serve as a tool for cultural disruption. Good morning, Hugo.
Good morning, Dave. How are you?
Oh, doing well, doing well. Thank you for squeezing us in on this early morning, calling while you're out there traveling. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. It was a bit of a squeeze. I literally called you as I got out of security here at Boston Airport because I'm on my way to Shreveport for a music festival for a few days and then driving from there up to Dallas for the Hay Festival. So it's a busy weekend and it'll be a blast.
All right, all right. So you flew in from England then?
No. I live in Massachusetts. I live right here just outside Boston.
Oh, okay.
1988.
All right.
No, I don't sound like it, but I do.
Well, yeah. So, Hugo, thank you for calling. The Hay Festival was started in 1988 and has been described as the Woodstock of the mind. Have you participated in a Hay Festival event before?
I haven't, but I'm delighted to know it's as old as the years that I've been living in the States. So maybe it's connected. Maybe it's time for me to take part. You know?
Yeah. Make hay.
Yeah. I think originally they asked John King, my singer, and me because we do a few things together, based around his autobiography about himself and Gang of Four from birth up till 1982, which came out earlier this year, and that was the genesis of it. But John couldn't make it this far, so they said, "Well, we got Brendan Canty, so why don't we get two noisy, aggressive, lefty drummers to come and talk together and be asked questions by a writer who's probably smarter than the both of us." So it should be fun.
It certainly sounds like it. I was pretty excited when I had heard about it. So it's a festival of authors and thinkers and artists. Who's your favorite author?
Who's my favorite author? Oh my goodness. Gosh, I read a lot of stuff. I think. Oh my God, I'm going to forget. I think John Irving, over my life, has probably been the most rewarding author to read, and somebody whose books have been successfully turned into movies. So often it doesn't work right, but if you know the books well and you've seen the few movies they've made, they've been extraordinarily good and interesting and vibrant and true to the books. The first one I read was World According to Garp, which was actually, as a teenager, that was the first book my dad and I really connected on. And subsequently, because I named my daughter Tess, which is spelled T-S, after T.S. Garp.
Oh, wow.
Who's she named after? T.S. Eliot? And it's like, not in a lifetime. So, yeah, and we always said to her when she was little, if you don't like the name Tess, you can change it, you can change the spelling, but she embraced it and loves it, doing her thing. So it's, yeah. So I think that I could say over a lifetime, John Irving is probably my favorite author.
And so you're coming in on Sunday to Texas Theater, part of the Hay Festival, and the conversation it's around drums and the drums' role and revolutions and what is
like that? Yeah.
So they have.
I mean, I think it's important to everyone gets. You see the videos of bands, you see the people at the front, you get the interviews. They're normally the people at the front. So this is good because the engine room is getting a chance to really put their cases forward and be heard at the Hay Festival, which is wonderful because Brendan is something else. He really is. I must say, when I first remembered hearing Fugazi, it's like, oh, I'm a bit scared of this. They were really true punk rock, sort of hardcore stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But there are so many things we share. So it's going to be a fun. It's going to be a fun event on Sunday afternoon.
Well, our KNON story with Fugazi is a long time back. They actually performed at the biggest KNON benefit concert we ever did in our rock format. And
Wonderful.
yeah, I'll never forget. Ian was like, "It's got to be a $5 ticket." We did
Yep.
it at a big venue called the Bomb Factory. We had thousands of people there, and after the show, this is before you would, get your ticket on the internet. It's for the internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I showed up at the house he was staying at with all the proceeds from the event, and I had tucked it in my coat to kind of get out of the venue without anybody knowing. I had a trash bag full of fives. And I dumped it on the floor, and he said, "Let's count it." And we sat there for a long while, counting up fives, and a big part of that went to support our station. So I'll always fondly remember.
Ian is one of the most principled men I've ever met. I mean, whenever we play in or around DC, he always comes. He just comes and sits in the dressing room, and you couldn't find anyone who comes over or appears least like a rock god than Ian. He sits like an old man in the corner, on his phone, and we laugh and we tell stories, and he's an extraordinary man, and it's always a delight to see him. We tried to get him to come on stage with us because on the Longer By tour that we finished in just this summer, which is not our very last time of playing, just to make it really clear, we have not retired, according to January, but we're just not doing big Gang of Four headline tours anymore. We want to play festivals. We still haven't made it in the last many years back to Australia and Japan yet, or South America. Those are things we want to do, largely because this is, I'd say, the best and toughest lineup of the band since 1981. So it's been so much fun doing it and playing it. And we got a lot of people coming and sitting in with us on the tour. Everyone from Lenny Kaye from Patti Smith's band to Rich Robinson from the Black Crowes. That surprised everybody. But some lovely people. We had a horn section on a number of the larger shows. We just had a blast all the way through. So we can't stop, but we're not doing big, long Gang of Four headline tours anymore.
Sorry. Well, the Gang of Four show at the Granada Theater, I think it was in May. Wow, that was really something. A packed house. Energy was over the top.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, with Ted Leo and Gail Greenwood, it really pushes me and John not to sort of sit on our laurels at all, because they are both fierce players and performers and people. I mean, it was a wonderful tour to be on, even when you weren't on stage. A lot of the time it's just you're bored, traveling or sitting in hotels. We spent a lot of time together. We learned from each other. I mean, they're both vegan, so everyone had to sort of slightly change the way they approach things, which was great. It was healthy, good. I can't tell you what a joy it is playing with them.
Well, I remember her from L7.
That's right, and now more often, more so Belly, which is a permanent band. They just came back from Europe doing a tour celebrating, I think, the 40th anniversary of King. Can't be the 50th, they're not that old. And they're about to start their US tour doing the same thing. So I'll be going to see a few of those shows. And she's still on stage, like she's in L7. I mean, she really pumps it. It's great.
Yeah, no, I remember interviewing L7 when they were getting started, and that was always an adventure, for sure.
Yep.
So, where did Gang of Four get its name from?
Well, in a nutshell, driving around Leeds up in Yorkshire, where most of Gang of Four, Delta 5, Mekons and people, Pretty Bility and Soft Cell, we all were at the university or the Polytechnic right next to the university. I think we were just driving around, probably looking for somewhere open to go and have a drink in the afternoon. And there was a headline on a newsstand saying, Gang of Four, something, something, talking about the counter-revolutionary Chinese Gang of Four. And Andy Corrigan, who was one of the lead singers in the original Mika, said, well, that'd be a good name for a band. And it's just like, we just looked at each other and went, So, yeah, there you go. I think the original idea was either be a 3-piece or a 5-piece, but that didn't last.
Yeah, well, it is a great name for a band. It conjures up some history. How did Gang of Four come up with its sound? It's like driving drums, a chopping guitar, a funky bass. The wide-ranging
Well, I mean,
vocals?
yeah, I think really it was like, after we got over our initial sort of just doing easy, fast, very punky stuff, like sort of playing an old Beatles song and sort of like counting off 1, 2, 3, 4 and racing each other to the end, fast we could do Day Tripper, but it was really about what was interesting to us rather than what can we do for an audience, what's going to be expected of us. And our influences had a huge account on that, whether it was Hendrix or Parliament Funkadelic or Free, which most Americans probably have more association with Bad Company, who had 2 or 3. I mean, Simon Kirk, the drummer from Free and Bad Company, is one of my biggest influences. But that and dub reggae and just, the Meters, because we just wanted to be interesting without stealing. So,
Right.
yes, that's how we came up with our sound. It's just, and then you take it on the road, and it's like songs grow and adapt to what they sound like when you record them. So, yeah, that's how we got our sound. I think that's probably what most people might say. You start by stealing, then you start adapting, and then you find your own voice.
Sure. I was introduced to that funk bass through you guys when I was in high school, and I just was like, I couldn't help moving to it. It was.
Well, Dave Allen was an extraordinary bass player. He was the real musician amongst us when we started. The 3 of us were just, art students. And I was doing English and theatre. John Andrew was doing fine art. And Dave came along, and he'd been playing in bands in his hometown for years, doing like Sunday jazz brunches and cover bands. So he really knew how to play. He knew all the notes. And he brought that to us, and we brought to him saying, play less notes, play less notes. And that's how we all just gelled. But, yeah, Dave was extraordinary. We miss him dreadfully because, as you probably know, he passed earlier this year.
Yes.
After quite a long illness. And it was a huge loss to everybody who cared. He was a lovely man. I miss him dreadfully.
Well, I remember at Granada, you announced that the microwave that got used as a drum would be sold to raise funds to help his family offset his medical expenses.
Yeah, that was one of the things. What we did, just briefly, we anything like signed and broken drumsticks or drum heads or the microwave, and some of Dave's old CDs and stuff that his wife, widow, sent to us, literally to sell and say to people, we're helping raise money for the family because medical costs are obscene. One day maybe this country will move ahead with every other advanced nation and get socialized medicine, but that's not the point.
I think we got a government shutdown over that right now.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah. We raised a healthy amount for his family, and the generosity of our audiences. I mean, people just walked up to the merch table and just thrusting 20s and 50s saying, so what do you want to buy? Nothing. This is for Dave's family. It was really, really heartwarming. I sold an old cracked cymbal for $500, which we all signed, and it's just like, thank you. It was a yet another really warm-hearted, lovely part of the tour we did this spring and summer.
How long had you guys been using a microwave as a drum?
Well, less as a drum, more as a percussion instrument. But yeah, we started in '80, just hitting a metal pipe on a tray that we ripped off a dishwasher or something and put on a microwave on a flight case. And then I don't know what happened, but just suddenly like, why don't we hit something more interesting? Why don't we, make it about some sort of minor contribution to, product? But it just said, let's hit a microwave. But it always had to be a used one or one that wasn't working anymore. And it's become a signature thing, and people love it. And it's our brown M&M's moment where we put it on the rider, the technical rider, and say, this is not a test. We use this on stage. But sometimes there was one famous place, God, where was it in Europe? But the guy thought we were joking, and we've got to hit a microwave. And he said, well, I got something else. So he wheeled on like a full-size refrigerator. And so John just set to it for that. So
oh wow, yeah.
It's fun.
I I think at the Granada, everybody really got a kick out of that. That was,
Well,
you.
I mean, it's a great piece of theatre as well as just percussive instrumentation. You know, he just whacks it on the floor all the way through. And then we got to that bit in the middle, which we started with David Parho, and Ted just like leapt right into it, where he's sort of going, you know, on his guitar in that break in the middle where it's just the two of them, and John will stop the beating and they'll just stare each other down for who comes in next. It's great.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you get back to traveling. I do appreciate you calling this morning. Do you have any parting words for us?
Come to the Hay Festival. It'll be a blast. You know, there's lots of really good stuff going on. We're just a sort of amuse-bouche at the end of it, if you like. You know, we're a little bit of chocolate pudding at the end. It'll be good though. I'm really excited to do this with Brendan. So yeah, can't wait.
Well, it's good, and you're at the Texas Theater, such a historic venue. So many stories there. Well, thank you, Hugo Burnham, for calling us this morning. Hugo will be in a conversation with Brendan Canty from Fugazi at Texas Theater this Sunday during the Hay Festival. Hugo, we'll see you soon.
Absolutely, old dear. Thanks a lot, Dave, and love to everybody out there. I'll see you in a few days.
Bye-bye now.